Hello, Dr. Brent Hulsebus here, chiropractor from Rockford, Illinois, coming at you tonight with another deep dive into some research. What we like to do here once a month is we like to do a deep dive into some chiropractic research, kind of take a look at the research and present it to you. Then I like to break it down to you, try to explain it to you the way I understand how it sounds and how I understand it so you can understand it. After we do that, I'll talk a little bit how we do it here in a clinical setting. So if you were a patient here and you came in, and this is one of the areas that you had concern, what would happen for you as a patient? So we have a couple of different topics tonight, but they all revolve around the heart and how the heart works and the functions of the heart and chiropractic and some of the science behind chiropractic. Now, if you're watching me live, either on Facebook or YouTube, and you have a question, you can type it in below, like right down here, and it'll pop up on my screen. And then I can answer your questions as soon as we get the opportunity to answer questions. And I'll make sure that at the end we do some of that. One of the benefits of watching me live. If you're not watching this live, well, you can go ahead and still hit contact us at rockforddc.com, and I'll be happy to get back to you or ask me next time you see me. So today, let's talk about the heart and the health of the heart and what's going on with the heart. So we use research here from the Heidi Havoc and the Havoc Institute. What Dr. Havoc has is she has a research institute over in New Zealand. And all they do is chiropractic research around the clock. And they kind of break down the research. They just nothing but research over there. And it's a chiropractic theme research. So, it wouldn't make any sense for me to review dental research, right? Because I'm not a dentist. So I'm going to be a chiropractor reviewing chiropractic research and chiropractic science. Those of you who don't know me, I have a big pet peeve. My big pet peeve is when they do like a really cool story about chiropractic, and then they tell you to go check with your family doctor afterwards. Your family doctor doesn't understand chiropractic, never took chiropractic classes, never been to a chiropractor, never graduated chiropractic college. I don't know why they're the experts. I often would tell you to ask a chiropractor that. So if you don't know, once a week we do another podcast webinar on Ask the Chiropractor, where if you have a question, you can ask me, and I'll come on you and give you the best answer I can answer as a chiropractor. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk tonight about the heart. Heart is a big topic. It's definitely something that a lot of us struggle with health-wise. I know heart disease is a really big problem in this country. So, and there's been a little bit of heart stuff coming up with the C word that's been going around healthcare-wise here in 2021 and 2020. I don't like to say the C word because I tend to get censored when we talk about that certain virus that came and spread around the country. It's causing a pandemic. So I'm not going to say the word, but let's get into some of this research. Let's dive in here. The first thing I want to talk about is hypertension. There's been some really cool studies about hypertension lately. And one of the cool studies about hypertension was actually done by a chiropractor who I personally know, Marshall Dickhurst. He's passed on. His son's still practicing. But I met Marshall Dickhurst many years ago, and he kind of gave me a lecture about history of chiropractic, not knowing I'm a third generation chiropractor. More importantly, not knowing it was my grandfather that convinced him to become a chiropractor. So the first piece of research, we're going to look at some of the stuff Marshall Dickhurst did. And he was actually on Good Morning America with this research. So let's type into chiropractic and hypertension.
Do you feel busy or stressed out, or that there's just not enough hours in the day to get everything done? Modern life can be very hectic, with work and family commitments, endless emails, and constant messages coming through on our phones. When things get too much for us, we sometimes forget to pay enough attention to looking after ourselves, and we may eat and drink too much and not get enough exercise. If this goes on for too long, it can have an impact on our health. In particular, it can lead to high blood pressure. This can be a real problem because high blood pressure or hypertension is a risk factor for stroke and other heart diseases that play a role in about 1 in 5 deaths worldwide. For people with high blood pressure, usually the best thing they can do to help themselves is to make changes to their lifestyle, like reducing the amount of salt they eat, or getting active, or drinking less alcohol, and eating a healthy diet rich in fruit and vegetables. And these lifestyle modifications often work as well as or better than taking blood pressure drugs. It may seem a little strange, but one other healthcare option that some people turn to when they have high blood pressure is chiropractic care. This may be because of a study that reported some quite startling results that was published in the Journal of Human Hypertension and gained quite a lot of exposure in the press when it was published. In this study, researchers did a randomized control trial with 50 patients with early-stage high blood pressure. Half of them received specific chiropractic care that focused on the top of their neck for 8 weeks, and the other half received sham care or pretend chiropractic care. The researchers were interested in seeing whether the group that received real chiropractic care had a significant reduction in blood pressure compared to the control group. After 8 weeks, the patients that received the real chiropractic care showed a significant drop in blood pressure compared to those that received pretend chiropractic care. The average decrease in blood pressure for the real adjustment group was an extraordinarily 17 millimeters of mercury for the systolic blood pressure and 10 millimeters of mercury for the diastolic blood pressure. This improvement in blood pressure is similar to what happens when 2 different blood pressure drugs are given together. So this study got some remarkable results. But like all studies, it has its limitations. For example, it studied an uncommon type of chiropractic technique that was provided by only a single chiropractor. It was also unclear how sound the methods of the study were, and follow-up studies have failed to find the same results. So research reviews point out that more good quality research is needed to be done to better understand the effects of different types of chiropractic techniques and whether they really have an impact on blood pressure or not. But this single study does suggest that for some people with hypertension, it appears that some types of chiropractic care may help them to better control their blood pressure. Remember that the chiropractor isn't directly trying to treat the blood pressure. Instead, they are trying to improve spinal function with the aim of improving your brain's ability to regulate what's going on in your body. And for some people, this may influence their blood pressure. So if you're feeling stressed out or overbusy or aren't looking after yourself as well as you could, then take some steps towards living a healthier lifestyle and get your spine checked by a chiropractor so you can function at your best.
So the fun part about the study is I actually know the clinicians that did the study. Like I said, there was another book in Chicago. He was on Good Morning America and everything like that. And so when you actually get to talk to the researcher directly, I went to a couple of classes with them and get to listen to lecture on the study. The goal of this, the chiropractic adjustment that was given was to stimulate the vagus nerve. Now, what's the vagus nerve? Well, we have a fight and flight response. I'm sure everyone's heard of that. Your sympathetic nerves, your fight or flight kick in, you go into survival mode. Your adrenaline gets going, everything, the blood vessels get pumping, everything gets going, you go into attack or survive mode. So what is the fight or flight? What's the opposite of that? Well, the opposite of that is your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve controls what they call your parasympathetics. And so the vagus nerve comes out of the top bone of your neck, your C1, and travels all over the place. Matter of fact, in Latin, vagus means wanderer. And this nerve's job is to tell your body that danger has left, that it's okay now, it's time to relax. And so when he did this adjustment, his job or his goal was to stimulate the vagus nerve, to stimulate the nerves that tell your body danger is gone, otherwise known as the parasympathetic nerves. These are the nerves that begin to tell your body to relax, go back to homeostasis. It's time to repair and be normal. So a lot of times when chiropractors have success with hypertension, what they find is that by adjusting the atlas bone, the C1, and stimulating the vagus nerve can have an effect on helping calm down the fight or flight response. And because a big part of the fight or flight response is high blood pressure, because you want to have the high blood pressure when you're in fight or flight, because you're under attack, you want the blood to flow so you can run. Part of the opposite of that, then would be helping bring that down, help it relax. So they do a C1 adjustment. And I know they said it was a rare chiropractic adjustment. The adjusting C1 is not a rare. The way they did it was a rare chiropractic adjustment. And I know when I first moved out east to Massachusetts, the chiropractor adjusted me sitting in a chair instead of me laying down like my father and grandfather had always done. I just assumed it was wrong because I had never experienced that. But there's many different ways to adjust and influence the C1. Here in our clinic, we have many different ways of doing it. The first thing we would do to see if you qualified for this is we take an x-ray of your spine. We want to see how your first bone in your neck looks. Is it rotated? Is it off? Because if it's not off and it doesn't have a problem, this is not you. So we take an x-ray and look at that C1. Then what we do is we want to adjust that C1, that atlas vertebrae, very, very specifically based on our findings. Now, we can do that when you lay on your side, and we have what we call a toggle recoil adjustment, where you just hit the table, make a loud pop. You don't really feel much. Matter of fact, usually when I do this to the patient listening, he goes, did you even do anything? Because we have that one where you lay on your side. We have the exact same one, but this is a very, very old technique, where it's actually you're sitting in a chair and it's up against the wall. We could have adjust you like this, coming straight across to influence the same way we would do laying down. Very, very rare adjustment that we happen to have here just because, well, we've been around since 1949 and we have some cool stories here. The other way we most commonly do is when you lay on your back, we adjust your C1 on your back. So if this hypertension was coming from you having a vagus nerve issue, we have about 3 or 4 different ways to adjust you to help you with that. Which way we will use with you? Well, it depends on who you are. It depends on what we find on the x-ray. Can't answer that until I get the chance to look at you. So that's kind of how chiropractic has a role with hypertension. Another example, I talk a lot about this. We have 4 daughters. The last 2 are twins. And so when my wife was pregnant with the last 2 at the same time, the other 2 were at school and she had an appointment with her doctor. And the doctor's office was running about an hour and a half behind. Now, parents, you know what it's like to have to go pick up your kids at school drop-off, and they get stuck at the clinic an hour and a half behind. You get really anxious. You get really excited. Like, hey, I need to get out of here. I got other kids to deal with. Well, they sat her down. They took her blood pressure, and her blood pressure was off the charts. And they were like, oh, no, your wife has really bad blood pressure. I'm like, no, she doesn't. Her blood pressure is totally fine. She's all worked up. She's all mad. She's anxious. I'm her husband. I know how to get her there. You guys did the same thing. And they had a long talk with me, but finally they realized I was right. So when you get in that state, that excited state, that revved up state, and your vagus nerve isn't there to turn it off, you stay there. We give you a chiropractic adjustment. We adjust your C1. You calm down. Now, if I've done this to you, because I'll tell you, hey, we really got your C1, I bet you're going to have a great night's sleep. Again, it's about calming down and relaxing. All right, so I hope that answers questions about hypertension. Again, if you have more questions, you can type them right below here in the comments. I'll see them. I'll get them back to you. I'll answer your questions for you. But let's talk about something else now. Let's talk about a lot of cool, I don't have this yet. I'm probably going to get it. It measures your heart rate variability. What does that mean? That means is your heart exciting or slowing down? Kind of like we just talked about. So let's talk about little heart rate variability. See you in a minute.
Most people know that having a healthy heart rate is important. You don't want your heart to beat too fast and you don't want it to beat too slow. It should beat just the right pace to provide your vital organs and muscles with just the right amount of blood and oxygen that you need to survive and thrive. What many people don't know, though, is that the natural variation in someone's heart rate is also important. Your heart shouldn't beat at a constant steady rate all day. It should vary based on whether you are resting or exercising, whether you are happy or angry, nervous or relaxed. Your brain is constantly detecting what is happening inside and outside of you, and one of the ways it responds to changes in your environment is by increasing or decreasing your heart rate. These natural changes can be measured and are called your heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is controlled by your nervous system, specifically the part of your nervous system that controls your autonomic functions, like breathing and digesting, the things that we don't have to think about doing, the ones that just happen. A good heart rate variability is one that is high, and it's thought to indicate a healthy heart and body, one that is able to respond appropriately and adapt to the environment and the needs. For example, if you get into a fight or suddenly need to run really fast, your nervous system will quickly need to increase your heart rate so that it can pump enough blood to your muscles so you can run or fight. However, when you're sleeping or relaxed, you don't want your heart to beat very fast, as this is not a good thing for you. So your brain will perceive this and then decrease your heart rate. In order for your nervous system to be able to increase or decrease your heart rate based on your needs, your brain needs to be able to properly sense what is going on in and around it. We know now from a lot of neuroscience research studies that when segments of your spine are not moving properly, what some chiropractors call being subluxated, this changes the way your brain can sense what is going on in and around your body and the way your brain controls your body. Research has shown that when a chiropractor gently adjusts these subluxations, it helps your brain to more accurately perceive or see what's going on in and around your body. So when your chiropractor adjusts you, it might help you to be able to respond and adapt better to your environment and keep you balanced and healthy. This is why some chiropractors will measure your heart rate variability when you are under chiropractic care, so they can see how well you are responding to the chiropractic care and to see how you are currently adapting to your environment. A group of researchers wanted to know more about chiropractic and heart rate variability, so they got 96 different chiropractors to measure heart rate variability before and after a single adjustment session on some of their patients. And for some of these patients, they measured their heart rate variability over the course of 4 weeks of chiropractic care. Altogether, 539 adults had their heart rate variability recorded before and after their adjustments, and 111 had their heart rate variability measured across 4 weeks of chiropractic care. They found that in both of these groups, there was a significant improvement in their heart rate variability measurements, and that in the group that was assessed over 4 weeks, these improvements were sustained. When we put this study together with other research that has been published about chiropractic care and heart rate variability, it suggests that chiropractic adjustments can influence heart rate variability. And very importantly, in the stressful, fast-paced life we often live these days, chiropractic care appears to increase the healing and calming side of our autonomic nervous system, although we do need more research on this area. But if you are interested in good health, adaptability, and want to better respond to stress and your environment, why don't you consider chiropractic care and make sure your spine is functioning as well as it can so you can operate at your optimal potential.
So there you go again, autonomic nervous system. That's what I was talking about in the previous video about the vagus nerve, the previous segment, the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve's job is to keep the body in a state of ease, and your sympathetic or your fight or flight are to respond to the stressful stimulus. Well, there's been new studies out of one of the chiropractors from Life West, where my cousins went to school, by the Aguya studies, where they're actually now able to tell that chiropractic adjustments have a direct effect on how your autonomic nervous system reacts. They're doing it with saliva responses. They've also done it with skin temperature. So we're learning more and more as the testing becomes available to us, the equipment, the technology to prove what we say becomes available. We are now able to go in and show what we've always told people is happening, and what we've experienced is happening with patients. As technology catches up with us, now we're able to do the science and research and show it. So the heart rate variability, very, very much like the hypertension. If the heart rate's working the way it's supposed to be, usually that means the nervous system is working the way it's supposed to be. If the heart rate variability is off, it's not responding the way it's supposed to. And I mean, we're all doing this now, right? We all have one of these Apple Watches, right? That's keeping our heart rates. We're watching those things when we sleep versus when we're awake. We go to gyms, we exercise. You see the people with the strap across their chest. That's what they're doing, is they're watching their heart rate under stress, and they're trying to push their heart to get it to work really hard when they're exercising, but really calm when they're not. And chiropractic adjustments are showing more and more to have a positive effect on this swinging from good to bad. I mean, when you're exercising to having the 100, that's normal. But when you're sleeping, it should go all the way down, because hopefully you're not stressed when you're sleeping. So that's the physical stress when you're exercising. So that's the things that we're measuring, those are the things we're looking at, and it's really exciting to see a change. I know here you can see we work with the ice hogs. Those guys are always trying to do everything they can to get the edge. So anything they can do to make their heart rate go. So that if you've never played hockey, just watch it. I mean, they go on the ice, and they're on the ice for about a minute and a half, and they come off. And if you never played, you don't really understand how much energy they're using, how much their hearts are racing while they're skating. And that's why they only last so long. Plus, they have to last the whole game. So that's why they keep the shifts short. It's easy to say. So that's what we see. So that's what we work on, the heart rate variability. We want to make sure it goes up and down the way it's supposed to. So now let's talk about another topic. Let's keep talking about heart health. Let's talk about what if. What if I had a bad experience with my heart? What if something really, really bad happened to me? Unless can chiropractic help with recovery? Well, let's go somewhere where most chiropractors won't go, but I don't care because I have science. Let's talk about strokes. Ooh, chiropractor talking about strokes. So first of all, let me just hit that topic real quick. Check out the Cassidy studies. Chiropractic adjustments do not cause strokes. Cassidy's proved it's a PubMed Research Index paper. Don't read the pamphlets, read the science. I tell everybody. But let's say you've had a stroke, right? Let's say that, hey, I had a stroke. My body's not working the way it's supposed to be. Can chiropractic help me? Can chiropractic help me recover from a stroke and a stroke injury? Well, let's not talk about what we think. Let's not talk about what a pamphlet, some heart association or somebody might have published. Let's look at the science. Let's look at the research. Let's dive into the stroke here.
Having a stroke can be devastating, not just for the person who has had the stroke, but also for their family, their friends, and their caregivers. A stroke is a problem with the blood supply to the brain. This could be because of a blockage in an artery in the brain, or a bleed in the brain itself. We all know how important our brain is, and without blood, it just doesn't work. This means that if you have a stroke, an area in your brain can basically die, which is why it's not too surprising that stroke is one of the leading causes of death and disability in the world. In fact, about 17 million people around the world suffer from a significant stroke every year. And about 5 million of them experience long-term disability. One of the most common disabilities after a stroke is muscle weakness, often on one side of the body. This may mean that after a stroke, a person has trouble using their arm or hand, or they may struggle to stand or walk. Living with muscle weakness can be really hard and have a big impact on a person's ability to look after themselves or to work. There are lots of rehabilitative approaches that may help people who have had a stroke, from physiotherapy through to robot-assisted therapies. But doctors and scientists are constantly looking for new approaches to help stroke survivors. One possible intervention that might help, but most people wouldn't think of, is chiropractic care. Over the past 20 years, scientists have shown that chiropractic care doesn't just have an impact on how your back works, it actually changes the way your brain works and how it controls your body, including movements and strength. A number of recent studies have shown that a single session of chiropractic care can have an immediate increase in strength. In one of these studies, the researchers found a 16% increase in strength of leg muscles in a group of students after a single session of chiropractic care. Another study reported an 8% increase in strength in elite athletes after they were adjusted by a chiropractor. And one more study found an 11% increase in jaw strength in a group of healthy people after chiropractic adjustments. What's really interesting, though, is another recent study that looked at changes in strength in weak leg muscles after chiropractic care in people who had suffered from a stroke. In this study, a team of scientists from around the world measured the strength of weak muscles in chronic stroke patients before and after a single session of chiropractic care, or a sham control session. They also used electrical stimulations of nerves in their legs which could help them work out whether any changes in strength came from their brain or something that was happening in their spinal cord. When the scientists analyzed the data from their study, they found an average improvement in strength of almost 65% in the affected leg of their stroke patients. They were blown away by this finding because 65% is a huge difference. They also found that these strength changes were due to changes in the way their brain was communicating with these weak muscles. And this increase in strength was not because of changes at the spinal cord level. These results are really exciting, but you do need to remember that the scientists only looked at immediate changes after chiropractic care, so they don't know yet how long these changes last for. That's why these scientists are now doing another study looking at how longer-term chiropractic care impacts muscle function in stroke patients. However, these initial groundbreaking findings are really important and may mean that chiropractic care can help people who've had a stroke to improve their strength and ability to walk and move. So if someone you know has suffered from a stroke, let them know that chiropractic care really may help improve their brain-body communication and get them moving again.
All right, so that was a cool little video, right? So for those of you who are listening and not watching on the podcast, those are those awkward silences that happen between us is when all the research pops up, all the cited research. So if you're listening to this and you'd like to get a copy of the research or see it yourself, if you're like me, just send us an email, send us a message. I'll be happy to give you the list of all that research. Those of you that are watching, that's what that was. That was all the research. So let's talk about that. So I have my LCP, which means I'm a Legion of Chiropractic Philosophers. And that's a group of chiropractors that took a one-year course, an advanced course in chiropractic philosophy, where the healing comes from the inside out, where we think the body can adapt and change to the environment you put it in. And when you've had a stroke, the environment the body's in, it definitely changes. I mean, half the body's not working the way it's supposed to. And the neurons and stuff like that are getting us the message they used to get. That part of the brain's no longer there. It's there, but it's just not like these. It kind of dies. But the body will continue to fight and fight and fight to survive. Maybe some of you are talking about heart health. Maybe some of you have heard about a natural bypass where somebody has grown a new artery or a natural bypass on a clogged artery. Because again, the body's designed to fight tooth and nail to survive and to keep going. So when I hear that study, what goes through my head, being the LCP that I am, is that the body's changing, the body's adapting, the body's rearranging things to try to heal and recover. That's why sometimes, if somebody can't walk after a stroke, after a couple of years, they can, because the body continues to change and rewire itself and adapt to this and that. And when we adjust we do a chiropractic adjustment, we're actually, because you got to understand the nerve comes and goes. It goes both ways. And so the nerve coming back now, it's confused because the pathway that goes up to the brain and the back part of the brain is not there. But these are all packed in the spinal cord. So when we start doing adjustments, we find that the people start to improve. I mean, 65% improvement, that's awesome. So what's going on there is that we have to hypothesize, because again, the technology that tells us this doesn't exist, that the neurons are adapting and changing and rearranging and doing things differently in order to keep going. Now, can I prove that to you? No. But the numbers show that something's happening, right? 65% improvement, something's going down there, something's happening. So I can't show, we don't have the test to prove that doesn't exist. Known as the nerves, they put the needles in your arm and see how they work. They can prove the nerve is working, but they can't prove the adaptation, how the body's adapting. But we do know the body adapts. The numbers suggest the body adapts. Chiropractic's been shown to speed that up. So there you have it. Chiropractic in the heart. I hope I answered some questions tonight. I hope I gave you some thinkings about some different things. I hope everybody learned something. If you'd listen to the podcast here, once a week we do the Ask the Chiropractor, where I take a 5 to 10 minute dive into a topic. Once a month we do one of these webinars, and every once in a while I sprinkle something in there like a healthy fact you should know, little videos just for fun. Who am I? I'm Brad Hulsebus, chiropractor, Rockford, Illinois. I graduated Palmer College of Chiropractic, as my father did, my uncles did, and my grandfather did. I'm 7 of 10 chiropractors in my family. What else? I'm a team chiropractor for the Rockford Ice Hogs. I have several postgraduate degrees and certifications. I have my LCP, like I already mentioned. I have my CCWP, Certified Chiropractic Wellness Practitioner. I am the Illinois delegate of the International Chiropractic Association. And yeah, that's me. So I do a lot of different things. So if you have any questions for me, go ahead and let me know. Shoot them over to me and we'll answer them the best we can. And thanks for joining us for another webinar. Come back here next month. We'll do another one. If you have a topic you'd like me to dive into or a piece of research or something you've read that you're curious more about, let me know. You can always find me more at Rockford, DC, ROCKFORD, DC.com, RockfordDC.com. Other than that, everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and next time I'll see it'll be after Thanksgiving, so I might look a little bit bigger. Thanks for tuning in.